finally it occurred to me today why you brought me into this.
Why is that, Chris?
Because I finally realized that if we do enough of these shows, you will have me saying probably most words I could have said, and then you're going to take those and you're going to use the latest in machine learning technology to be able to splice them all back together to make me say whatever it is that you want me to say. That's what it is.
Hello,
I finally
Glenn.
realized it. Glenn is the greatest guy ever. Yep. But you'll leave out, like when I was talking about the SNL skit where they're like, I hate you, Glenn. Everybody hates you. You'll leave that one out.
That's right.
Anyway, just occurred to me today. And you know what's funny is I'm making the joke, but it really literally did occur to me today. I don't know, like one little part of my brain, I was getting changed after work, throwing on my Florida uniform, which is, shorts and a t-shirt. And I'm like, you know what? I bet I know why he's doing this. That little paranoid part of my brain. And I'm like, that's funny. I want to talk about that. If you laugh, it's true. Anyway.
It's pretty funny.
All right. We got a lot to talk about today, right?
We do.
Well, let's get on with it. Hit the intro music.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. Take it over.
Wait, what?
Oh, wait.
Wait. What?
All right. So we'll start off with the news. And as you know, and our audience probably knows by now too, I am coming down to Orlando to visit Disney in July. And so I'm still I'm in vacation planning mode, Disney vacation planning mode. So I'm still, looking at stuff and reading. Now I'm really reading the news for that angle and everything else. And
right, because doing a show on Disney wasn't enough motivation to really look at the news.
Right.
But
now it's important.
Now that you're financially invested in your family's
oh my God, am I financially invested?
Now I'll pay attention.
Right. So, there's a couple things that are going to be there and be introduced in time for my trip, for me to be there. So the first one, I think it was announced yesterday that there's a new photo capture coming to the Pirates of the Caribbean. So it looks like right before you go down the little hill to splashdown, where the skeleton is and he's driving the wrecked ship. It looks like that's where the camera's placed and they're going to take your picture. And as long as you have your Magic Band on, it will link to your Memory Maker. So that's pretty cool. I don't know.
It is cool.
Right?
Yeah. I was going to let you roll through the news, but yeah, I'll comment on that because I'm at least 30% of the show. So yeah, I saw the sample. I like it. This is another reason, because I talked before about why I like the little app, because, I don't have to, like before, I paid zero attention to these little ride pictures ever. But remember we went on on that Frozen ride a few weeks ago, and it occurred to me, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That picture is probably in the app that I didn't go back and look. So I loaded it up and I'm like, hey, sure enough, there we are. So I love that. It's like I don't have to do any work and I get the value from it. Right. So kind of like.
And you're in the picture.
Yeah, right. Yeah, another good point. I'm in the picture. Yeah. So yeah, I like it. Yeah. I know it was a mock-up or whatever sample, but the quality of that one looked good. Looked kind of neat.
It has a border.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So where's that going to be?
So it looks like it's, the first part of the ride, it's really slow and you see all the skeletons and everything else. And then you come around the one final turn where the skeleton's captaining the ship right there. And so it's right before you go down the little minute hill that they have.
That giant.
I don't want to scare anybody who's listening
avalanche.
Who doesn't like
all right. Move it on.
Roller coaster.
Funny man.
What?
Funny man. Nothing. Go ahead.
So
I hear something about restaurants. Something's happening there.
Yes, that's next.
Also, now we're talking about the app again. This magical app that I love.
So they already have mobile ordering for the two of the restaurants in Animal Kingdom, which I'll never use. So, but it was announced this week.
You're gonna be there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna eat there though.
All right, go on.
So anyway, it was announced this week that 5 restaurants at the Magic Kingdom are going to get the mobile ordering this summer. I think it's all of the quick service restaurants. The Tomorrowland Terrace, Cosmic Rays, Starlight Cafe, Pinocchio Village House, Pecos Bill, and Columbia Harbor House.
So can I ask questions?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So what's my question? So how does this work? Like, have the app. So, like,
Yeah.
all right. So, like, I'm at the park. I'm a angry lunatic, as you pointed out. Which, by the way, so did my wife the other day. She's like, every time we go to Disney, you're like all stressed out. What is that? I'm like, yeah, it's like you two talked. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, we're gonna go to Columbia Harbor House. I get out the app. We're over off on Main Street somewhere, probably in a shop or something. Yep. And I can see the menu, and I'm like, this, $73.
Yep.
Pay with my Apple Pay or whatever.
Sure.
And then I just go there and pick it up?
Yeah, so when you get there, you'll take out your app and click the I'm Here button, and they will start preparing the meal.
Well, they should already know that. If I have my magic band on, it should be like, boom.
Oh, he's coming.
Here he is.
He turned to go to Haunted Mansion. Oh, darn.
No, Hall of Presidents. So, okay.
Well, that's closed right now, Chris.
Not for long.
You know that or not?
Not for long. Well, and then the big unveil.
I know. I really hope it, because normally they have it open by July 4th, but I don't think it's going to happen this year. But.
By the way, I think it's adorable that both you and Disney think that they make the food when they know that they know you're there. When what you mean to say is they just scoop the stuff out of a vat of pre-made stuff and toss it into a plate, right?
And that's fine.
But that's fine. It is fine because that's one of them, and we go to Columbia Harbor House a lot because you introduced us to that. We didn't even know it existed before you showed it to us that one time, and so we go there a lot because But it is, for me anyway, it's like, God, you got to wait in that line. It's so crowded in there, and it's just noisy, and you got to try and find a table. So I mean, to take one of those worries away, that you can just go in and like hit the thing and find your table. I mean, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on news here, but I think that's fantastic news. I think on the technology front, they're doing pretty much everything right at the Disney World, I think.
Yeah, I mean, these are great additions to My Magic Plus and to your vacation in general.
Yep. Anything that reduces my stress, I'm all for, and keeps me in the shops longer, so I spend more money.
That's right. That's all that matters.
Yep. Well, that's pretty cool.
All right. So,
I'm sorry. One more question, because I want to. I'll find out. So okay, you say I'm there, and then how do you find out your food's ready? They call you? Is it beep in the app? What is it supposed to do?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I guess we'll find out when you.
We'll find out in July.
Awesome. Okay, next. Keeping this moving. We got lots of stuff to talk about.
We do, and so we're trying to hurry here. Okay. Next is a couple just general Disney notes. The first one is D23 Expo is going to happen. It's happening the week before I go down to Disney World. But it happens at Disneyland, actually in the Anaheim Convention Center right across the street from Disneyland. But one of the things that they're going to have is the Disney Parks and Resorts are going to have their own presentation of a galaxy of stories. And they're pretty much going to lay out everything that's going to be in the Star Wars lands at Disneyland and Hollywood Studios. So this will be the first time, we've seen some really vague concept art, and nothing's really, the only thing they've really said is that you'll be able to pilot the Millennium Falcon. So this presentation, they'll really get into the details about what's coming, what it's going to look like. We should see some new art and just hear about what's coming. So that's fairly exciting.
That is exciting. Awesome.
Yeah. So, but also traditionally, this is when Disney introduces any new anything new major for the theme parks. So if anything's coming that hasn't been announced already, so things like, there's a chance you could hear something about what's coming to Epcot, like what's going to replace Universe of Energy. Is the Tron coaster coming to the Magic Kingdom? There's a few rumors out there that we could get an acknowledgement on. So that's mid July, about 4 weeks from now.
Okay.
So that's that. Continuing with Disney company news, this week the Walt Disney Company completed the takeover of the Disneyland Paris Resort. So
is that good? Is that good news or bad news?
I think so. Disneyland Paris, since it opened, it's just been
Euro Disney
struggling, right? It just hasn't had the attendance, but then Disney had to, because of agreements with the French government, they had to open hotels and the second gate by certain dates. So the second gate that opened, the Walt Disney Studios, is, by consensus, one of the worst theme parks ever built. Because they just threw it up just to, satisfy this contract. Mm-hmm. And the hotels, they don't need that many hotel rooms. And so, but they've had to build everything out. So I think by taking the controlling interest and owning it themselves, they can get their hands dirty. They can start to really build out the Walt Disney Studios park, make it a true second gate, kind of like what they did with California Adventure. Mm-hmm. They'll just have more control. Before they had to go to the investors who may not wanted to spend money on new things, and so it just gives them more control.
Okay, good. Remind me again why Euro Disney was not a good name. Why did they?
I don't know. I love that name, but they changed.
Well, especially because it seemed like it's sort of the era for the EU to kind of be seen as a larger entity. So and
right,
kind of unite those. So I just don't know the history of that. Why it specifically changed? Whether it was it tied to an ownership change or something at the time, or was it just a
no? It really
thing,
wasn't. It was just a branding change.
Okay.
That could be another research project.
Yeah, we could do that. Somewhere around here, I've got quote collector's items that still say Euro Disney. That,
I know, me too. I have a ticket.
I'm expecting will be worth a fortune someday.
Oh yeah, man!
That went along with my Walt Disney Classics
collections.
Yeah, collections.
Yeah, buddy.
Such a sucker. All right,
I know.
So Disney sues somebody over property. I guess the government. Disney sues property assessments for Magic Kingdom and other properties. So what are they suing about? What's the problem?
So what they are saying is that the value that the Orange County assessor has placed on their properties, like the Magic Kingdom, Epcot, the theme parks and the hotels, for each one is overstated.
Well, okay. So looks like Epcot was valued at $446 million.
Right.
Magic Kingdom $437 million. So all of them right around $400 million for each of the actual real parks.
Right.
Animal Kingdom, $5. That's what they had for that.
Right. They didn't list that.
Which Disney said was overstated. So
no, but I think you know why, right?
What?
It's in Osceola County. It's in a different county.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Shut up. Really?
No, yeah.
That's like, it's not even Disney World. That shouldn't count. You know what? I feel better about my conviction of not going there. I have further evidence to prove it's not really part of the park.
But that's why I was curious, because Animal Kingdom Lodge is listed, so I guess that's in Orange
It's right
County.
in the boundary, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So
$400 million. Yeah, and then for the so $150 million for Animal Kingdom Lodge, and then CBR at $209. I love how they come up. I guess there's math involved, maybe, but $209 million. But really? Why wouldn't it go 210 to call it a day?
Yeah.
200. Yeah.
So
is this really news though? I mean, because even as a homeowner, you can contest your assessment on your home, right?
Right.
So
and Universal and SeaWorld are doing the same thing. They're suing as well.
Of course. Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting because they actually have they reported dollar values.
Yeah. That you're right. That is what's more interesting about it is what the actual value is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be honest, I would have thought that to me that seems underassessed, but I don't know.
Me too. Especially if we're talking about, we were just talking about Disneyland Paris, and if Disney owns, the 700 million shares at €2 each. That's 1 point whatever billion. For two, if you think about two parks and hotels, it's like, well, okay, that's fairly comparable.
Well, but property assessments are not. It's not like you're buying a business, because they're like, if you consider like a hotel, right? They're valuing the acreage it's on and like the square footage of the structures.
Yeah,
but not like what
then what would
the
Space
lobbies
Mountain
and businesses inside?
Like okay, for a home or a business, I could see like a value, but like Space Mountain, like what the? It's a building.
I don't know. I'm sure they have some. I don't know. I mean, it's not like these theme parks just got here, so I'm sure that there's a long history of how they assess these things. But
So I threw this in here because I was
it's interesting.
I thought it was cool that they listed some
numbers,
actual dollar amounts. So,
and it's interesting how close these parks. I mean, at these dollar amounts, but they're all right around. I mean, Studios is less than 3, but you know what? Studios is going to go way up.
Yep.
Next year, 2 years from now, or whatever. Yeah. So it'll probably be right around the same price as the other ones, but right around 400 to 4.5 million.
Yeah.
400 to 450 million. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Okay.
It is.
Do you still having technical difficulties? Should I get the next one up?
No, I no, but I did put this one in here because of you.
Hey, I see it now. Okay, awesome.
So
bring it on.
It was reported that Disney is looking to block 3D printed duplicates of their figurines. What they want to do is put a retro reflective substance on the actual figurines so that they can't be scanned.
Oh, right.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I've never done this, but this is such. Maybe they're just worried about the future. So what we're talking about is you can take an object,
right? And
there are 3D scanners that usually you put the object on a turntable, and the thing slowly spins around, and then the scanner does like a 3D, involving infrared and or lasers or whatever to create a 3D model out of it, and then you can print it, right?
Yeah.
But those things are so. Have you ever seen the quality of those scans?
Yeah.
They're so low. And I mean, maybe this is just a defensive move, thinking like, well, 10 years from now, it might not be that low quality, but,
And that's kind of what they say at the end of this article is that they don't know if if they really want to do this, or they're just looking to protect the research that they've already done in doing this, so that maybe they could sell it, license it, or whatever. Because Disney is really their R&D they're out there with a lot of things we've seen.
Yeah, a lot, and I don't know if they're just doing more or we just learned of a lot more lately. But right, they're doing things that you're like, really, Disney's doing that?
Exactly. So it
really?
Could be one of those
weapons
things.
Research. That doesn't seem right, but okay.
Right. But think about but Chris, think about like all on 192, right? All these cheap knockoff souvenir shops.
As I'm kind of I'm sorry, I didn't read the article before. I didn't do my homework, but so I had two minds of this. Because on the one hand, I'm like, what? If I bought a figurine and I want to scan it and I want to be able to print it in a different color or whatever, that's my business. What what do they have to do with that? But you're right. That's what I started to realize looking through this. If it's not, I guess that's not really their target. It is these. It's more creating literal knockoffs of these things that
and mass produce.
Which then I go, well, that would hurt the people buying them, because they would maybe they wouldn't even know they're knockoffs.
If you can make a 1-for-1 duplicate of this thing,
but there's other ways to whatever.
I know, but anyway, I just thought you'd find this one.
Yeah, no, I love the thread. In fact, I'm bringing a different 3D printer online soon. So yeah,
are you?
I like this space? Yeah, my other one finally hit a wall with it. So, but this other one, oh my god, it came as a kit, and I'm like, I like to put things together. How hard could that be?
Right.
Holy moly, I put in. I don't know.
It's like Legos, right?
Oh my god. Yeah, it's worse than Legos. And it's like I don't know. Maybe you save $200 by saying, "Well, I'll assemble it myself." But to its credit, the company did a good job of having everything packaged well and all that. But it's just so many steps. I think 49 sections of the thing to put together. Anyway, that's not what this podcast is about. But anyway, cool 3D printing. I like it. I wish Disney would do more sort of formal stuff with 3D printing. Let me download a really good model of Space Mountain or something. There's lots of, you look on the like Thingiverse and stuff. There's lots of fan made stuff, but it'd be cool to have like an actual thing.
It'd be awesome.
Anyway, all right, cool. Disney and the technology. What else is up in the world?
So before we get to our next section, this is the last bit of news, and I heard about it on another podcast. I just thought it was so outrageous.
Don't admit you listen to other podcast. What are you doing?
It's okay.
Shh, no, you got a personal press briefing from somebody.
That's right. But this is so outrageous that I just had to bring it up. So
it is a.
It's offered. It's actually not offered by Disney. It's offered by a third party company in Orlando.
Okay. All right.
But you can now rent tiny Cinderella coach strollers for Walt Disney World.
And I read that because it was in the rundown because you do your homework, and I thought, well, that sounds nice. I mean, I've got 2 boys, so I wouldn't probably do this, but I had a little girl. That sounds cute.
Yeah.
And then I saw the picture of it.
you saw the cage that
that's what it's like, a bird cage. It's like a bird cage. Yeah, I mean, kudos to them, but yeah, how much do they pay you to wheel this thing around?
Yeah, so that's the outrageous part. So let me go through the whole thing, and then I'll give you the price.
Oh, okay.
So
there's more?
You call up and order this thing. They will come to your hotel. I think.
Which, by the way, it's probably is it one of the what am I trying to say? Because you can rent scooters from third parties and stuff. You don't have to rent from them, right?
Right.
Okay.
So they will come to your hotel, put down a red carpet.
No.
You pick up like your family in a van. They will drive you to the Magic Kingdom. You can only bring this. Do this at the Magic Kingdom, and there's stipulations in there. You cannot park hop. You have to stay at the Magic Kingdom
at the studios.
Right. So then they bring you to the Magic Kingdom with the stroller and drop you off there, and then they will come pick you up and bring you back to your hotel, and so you have the whole day. The price for this is $300 a day.
Okay.
No, really? No comment?
I don't even know where to begin. Because I have so many thoughts. I mean, if it looked nicer, you left off the part where it's got the big sort of tricycle wheels at the bottom. Like, I mean, if you just looked at the top part. Wheels. Well, like actual bicycles, like these giant spoked. I mean, it just looks hideous.
Yes,
but like just the top part's not too bad. But
no, it would shade.
Look at the bottom part of that.
Your kid, Yeah. I mean, the kids would love it.
$300. Yeah, but you know what? We've done. After 87 shows, I've learned something about you, which is basically you just don't like expensive things, right? Because if this were
that's very true.
If this were $50 to rent, you'd be like, it's $50. It's silly, but okay. It's like you take offense to expensive things.
I do.
How dare they?
Well, I take offense because it's like, well, I mean, that is, man, I don't know. If you have that kind of money,
and see, this is always the conversation we had.
To blow
if you have
on
that
this for your kid, I mean, I don't know. I mean, good for you. You know what? I should applaud you.
You know what I want to do? Here's what we need to do.
What?
I have a request for the show.
Okay.
We need to find ourselves a third host.
Okay.
Somebody who is extremely wealthy that won't bother getting an oil change on their Lamborghini. They just get a new Lamborghini, right? Something along those lines, right? Somebody like that. And then I'm going to sit here. I'm going to mediate, and you two could go at whether this or the Park Cabana or well, actually no, you were against the transportation thing, but then you actually did it, Daddy Warbucks, and then now you're a fan, right? So
well, it saved me time, and I am a fan. I was looking at that today. I'm like, should I get that for the whole time we're there?
Yeah, I actually got you're not a pass holder, right? Right now?
No, I saw that though. It's $59 for the summer.
Yeah, well, I actually got a marketing email from them, which I'm Mr. I have two minds about that because I can't make up my mind, but I do have two minds about that too, because on one hand I'm like, you know what, if I want to pay extra and have more efficient whatever, then fine. But then the cynical part of me kicks in and I'm going, well, wait a minute, no, what they're doing is they're just making you pay extra to pay for. Rather than them building out their transportation infrastructure, they're just charging you extra for something they should already be doing, right? So yeah, I can get worked up about whatever, but you know what? Hey, you know what I'm going to do?
What you gonna
I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do.
I know what you're going to do.
When you're down here,
okay,
I'm going to rent this thing, and I'm going to put you in it, and we'll just wheel you around all day.
Well, okay, so wait a second. So let's think this through. You're in the park. You did this for $300.
Okay.
You want to go on the Wedway. So you park this thing. You go on the Wedway. Is it there when you get back? Number one.
Well, no, of course it's not there when you get back.
Of course it's not there. So are you out? What is? There's so many questions on this thing. And number two, let's just say you do this, and let's say your darling little daughter is bippity boppity booed up as Cinderella, and you're strolling her through. You're gonna walk. Every 10 feet, somebody's going to stop you to take a picture.
Right, of course, because they think you're part of the thing.
Right. So you're not going to have a regular day at the park.
Right. It's a shame this is a podcast. People got to go. You got to put the link to this. And
oh my god, this
thing is like it's like wrought iron. I guess that's what it is. Wrought iron, like sure. They make fences out of whatever. Like has all the bends and whatever. The little coach. I'm sure they think it's adorable.
If you were a little girl and you love princesses and your mom and dad got this for you, mom and dad would be the greatest people on the planet.
Yeah, for 10
for minutes. A day.
Yeah. You go to the bibbity bobbity boop, you get your outfit done, and you go in this thing. Boy, I'm glad I had boys.
But the next day at Epcot, when you don't you don't have this, it's like, Mommy and Daddy, where's the Cinderella stroller?
No, that would not be good show. You can't have that. Right. No, sorry. What's that? Anachronism. That would be an anachronism. Can't do that. See? Look at me with my big words. Not even sure that means what I think it means, but I'm going to go with it. All right, that was good. I'm glad you finished the news on that one, because that's great. What's the name of this company? Princess Carriage Rentals. It's a new business. I thought this would have been like an offshoot of like one of the
you and I could have done this, man.
The other people. No, you could have done this. What are we doing? This is oh boy. It's the wheels that just like, because you start looking at like top down, because they have little decorations at the top and you get a little lower, but man, you hit those wheels at the bottom, you're like, oh, whoa.
Yeah.
It looks like a medical device once you look at it. It's like something you get at a medical supply place. All right. Kudos to anybody who can send us pictures of this actually in the park.
Oh God.
We'll mention you on the show.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Could be you. This is like a scavenger hunt. What we should give somebody the first time that somebody sends us a picture of one of these in use. All right, cool. I'm still gonna rent one and put you in it. In your little dress. Mm-hmm. All right, is that it for the news?
That's it for the news.
All right, close it out. We talked a few weeks ago that I was at a technical conference at the Swalphin, which is the Swan and the Dolphin.
Yes.
And I got this weird sort of emotional thing. I got two minds about things, but I got this sort of weird emotional thing with the Swalphin, because when it was first built, or I was really into my early Disney phase, I was like, oh, the Swan and Dolphin, those are not real Disney hotels, right? I was all about the real Disney hotels, right? So I paid no attention to them at all. But over the years, especially living here, I've been to numerous events there, conferences and things like that. I've never actually stayed at either one of them. I don't think. No. But I have an affection for them now. They're like this own unique little thing to them. And especially when you realize, these aren't really Disney hotels per se, or literally. So I'm kind of fascinated about them. So I asked you one day, I'm like, well, what's the history with it? Why? I mean, Disney has a lot of resorts and hotels. Why would they need to let other people build some things? So what are these things and how did they end up there?
Yeah, all right. So, as all great Disney stories do, it all starts with Michael Eisner.
Well, wait a minute. Not. Oh,
What?
I'm sorry. I'm not
What?
supposed to talk. All right.
What?
Boop. Next
That's
slide.
the start. What? All right. Okay, so in 1984, the year that Eisner became CEO of Disney, the Walt Disney Company had an agreement with the Tishman Company to build and own 2 large hotels on Hotel Plaza Boulevard. The Tishman Group, which was a contractor who was hired to build Epcot and who also had hotels in the nearby Hotel Plaza, claimed that the Epcot deal gave them exclusive rights to operate convention hotels on the Disney property. On Michael Eisner's 9th day at Disney, after he saw the drawings for the hotels, he said no to them because they were too ordinary looking. So Eisner had no formal training in architecture, but he once said, buildings, architecture, are something that stay with you in a way that nothing else does. It's subliminal. You don't even know what you know about architecture. You get angry or you feel good, and you don't understand why you feel good. So Eisner started by getting to know the work of the country's top designers and figuring out which ones would be right to compete for particular commissions. So Eisner worked with Wing Chow in the Walt Disney Company, who he oversaw master planning and design for all Disney building projects worldwide. And he worked with Victor Gans, who was an old family friend of Eisner's, but he was also a noted art collector. So with their help, Eisner landed on 3 architects. The first one was Robert Venturi, who was known for his writings on architectural theory and buildings he designed with his Philadelphia firm. Alan Lapidus, who designed the originally planned hotels that Tishman was going to build. And the third was Michael Graves, who was a Princeton professor and who had designed the public service building in Portland in '82 and the headquarters for Humana in Louisville, Kentucky in 1985. So John Tishman was upset that Eisner didn't want to use the original plans and designs. So he sued the Walt Disney Company under racketeering statutes, asking $375 million and $1 billion in punitive damages.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Eventually,
sorry, I'm trying to be quiet, but that deserves a wow.
It does. Eventually, the suit was dropped, and Tishman agreed to do the buildings that Eisner wanted, and a new location near Epcot was selected. So the competition started, and the competition between Venturi, Lapidus, and Graves proceeded in July 1986. There was one rule that they had. The one rule was that no building could be higher than 8 stories, so that it couldn't be seen from Epcot or the planned Disney MGM studios. So they went back and designed and came back and presented, and Michael Graves designed a pyramid with a fountain on top that was much taller than 8 stories. Venturi had a plan that was graceful and fanciful, while Lapidus presented a quote-unquote crystal palace. Eisner, like Graves, designed the most, even though it broke the Disney rule and would be visible from within the theme parks. But Eisner thought the design was, even though he liked the pyramid design, he thought the rest of the design was stodgy, and he told Graves to lighten it up. So Graves went back and chose fairy tale creatures found in the gardens and fountains throughout history, dolphins and swans. And he topped the hotels with both. While the swans represent fairly lifelike swans, the dolphins are not mammalian dolphins, but rather a stylized version of a nautical dolphin, which is a common symbol used on old world nautical maps. And the design of the creatures is based on the Triton Fountain in Rome.
Okay.
Okay.
And so and why were they dolphins and swans?
Michael Eisner thought even though he liked the pyramid design, he told him to, because it was just a pyramid with a fountain on top, the original design.
Right.
There was no, dolphin. So he said he wanted to put, Graves wanted to put something on it, but he didn't want to use any of the Disney characters or anything like that.
Right.
So he went looking for what else he could put. And so he said, okay. Dolphins and swans.
No specific meaning to them or anything, but just
something.
Okay.
that he wanted
just the
to
vibe.
do. Whimsical, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm up to speed.
Okay. So Graves' design was chosen and approved, and Alan Lapidus, the guy who was in the competition but didn't get picked, but he was the one that originally designed the boring hotels. He became the production architect, but Graves kept his hand in on the whole design, like to a very detailed level. He designed everything from the plates in the restaurants, the carpets, the wallpapers, the curtains, the light fixtures. And he also modified his preferred Tuscan palette of deep teal green and dark terracotta in favor of a more festive and Floridian turquoise and coral. The building's facades are flat and painted, the way stucco buildings in Florida often are.
Mm-hmm.
The lobby of the Swan is a takeoff on a Victorian conservatory, while the lobby of the Dolphin is a giant celebratory tent. In both hotels, the doors are painted with stripes, as if they were the entries to cabanas. So the Swan opened on January 13th, 1990, and the Dolphin opened a little later that year on June 1st, 1990. Both hotels received both positive and negative critical attention, and Graves took as much flack and praise as Disney.
And so I'm sorry.
ahead.
So what? Just to give me context. So were there because that's a pretty big resort area now, right? You got the Yacht and Beach Club. You got the Boardwalk. What were those there at that point, or did they come later?
No, they came later.
Okay, so at the point they're built,
They
they
were
just
the
connect to
only
that
things
waterway.
there.
There's nothing else. There's nothing
Correct.
else there.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
At the opening of the Swan, Eisner said that though many might dismiss these buildings as being frivolous, he was certain they would stand up in the long run as major works of architecture. He said, quote, "You don't go into it to make it controversial, but I don't think you could do anything really important without also making it challenging." Quote. So that's the story of how the Swan and Dolphin came to be.
Which I find interesting, and I my day job is when I'm not earning a fortune podcasting. My day job is in hospitality, so we
Right.
work with a lot of hotels around the world, and some of the most amazing pieces of architecture and design that you'd ever see. These hotels are not that, but there's something about and it's interesting to hear the background in the sort of how they got to be what they are, because there's something about their character that I don't know what it is. That like if you walk from the Swan to the Dolphin, or I was there for a conference, and so often they'll set up tables by that little waterway there, basically where you pick up the boat to go over to the parks.
Yeah.
And you sit there and you look. If you notice the fountain that comes down from it seems like anyway, nearly it's not, but it seems like it's nearly the top of the pyramid of the Dolphin. And just the way the water kind of cascades, it's like a long way for that stuff to come down ultimately, into the pool at the bottom or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some really they're not design elements that you go, wow, that's really impressive, world class. But something about just the way they fit together and their vibe, it's like it's certainly not Disney, but I don't know. I guess I'm just coming to appreciate their own individual character, and the fact that they are different, right? That they're right there next to legit Disney-owned, built, run, designed resorts that are next to them. Yet they hold their own, I think. I've never stayed there, but, they're nice.
Yeah, absolutely. They're definitely bold. I mean, there's no denying that.
But they're really not. In terms of hospitality, like in terms of the hotels that are out there, especially, well, maybe it's because especially today, and maybe that's the thing. We're in a different era now because there is so much competition for hotels that, I mean, there are some amazing, bold. I mean, you still have your run-of-the-mill brands as well.
Yeah.
That are just sort of like, utilitarian business hotels or whatever. But at this scale, when you start talking sort of premium night stay kind of things, There's some, and if you were looking at New York or Vegas or whatever, there are some amazing properties out there. Mm-hmm. So they're not bold in that sense, but they have a character, right? They have a certain vibe to them.
They do. They absolutely do. And if you think about the time they were built, nobody had seen anything like that before.
Yeah, and I guess that you really have to think of it in that context, right? Because back then it really was just sort of, you had your big box sort of, Hiltons, Marriotts, whatever, that were just nice, boring kind of, just plain hotels. And so these were a little bit different.
Yeah. So I have a few stats and facts if you want them real quick. Okay. The Swan has 756 rooms and is 12 stories tall.
Okay.
The Dolphin has 1,509 rooms and is 27 stories tall at its peak. So at the very top. But there's not really a room up there.
I was wondering, because I was sitting there looking up there and I'm like, what's up there? It's a really tiny room.
Right. Yeah. The hotels are run by Starwood Hotels and Resorts. Yeah. The Dolphin is run,
which wasn't always the case. I'm sorry to interrupt. Which wasn't always the case, though. They were actually run by, I think, weren't they run by Marriott for a while or something?
No.
No? It's always been Starwood?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Cut that out. Okay.
The Dolphin is run as a Sheraton, and the Swan is run as a Westin. And the reason I know that is because, and I'll bring it up now. But I used to work there, so.
You bellboy?
No, I was so. Here's a little unique fact: the only Disney presence in either of these hotels is the gift shop and guest relations. Those are the only two things where they have actual Disney employees.
Can I ask you a question along those lines?
Uh-huh.
So I was there, like I said, a month or so ago at this point, and I noticed there was a little, little cutout, little area, whatever, that was like basically the I don't remember what they called it, but it's basically come in here and we'll help you plan your day at Disney or whatever. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're talking about? Like those are Disney employees that are hanging out there? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Like a little mini Disney concierge kind of thingy.
Exactly. They're off on the side.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. So it was actually really cool. So I was originally, when I did the college program, I was originally slated to go work at the Contemporary in the Fantasia gift shop. I got there the first day, and they were like, "Hey, guy, glad you came here, but we don't need you. Where we need you is at the Swan and Dolphin." And I was like,
"What you're saying is, wait a minute. So what you're saying is they took one look at you and then sent you 5 miles away?
I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was, but they took me into the bowels of the Contemporary to the office of the retail office, and and they were like, "Yeah, you need to get out of here." So my first real working day was at the Swan, and so I was there I think I worked there for a week, and then they transferred me to the Dolphin, and the reason why is because somebody who was working the Dolphin had to go on like short-term disability or something, and so they were short a person, and so I was literally just a filler.
Yeah, that's what they told you.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so it was me and 5-6 other people who were actual Disney employees in this hotel, and we were, it was kind of like having I guess like being a consulate in a foreign country.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it was just everybody was like, "Oh, what is going?" Like, are y'all Disney? And it's like, because we had in the gift shop, we had all the Disney stuff, and we, if you've ever been in the Dolphin, the Swan gift shop is fairly, pretty much off the lobby, but the Dolphin one, you have to go find it. It's not.
I never even saw it, to be honest.
Exactly. It's you have to. Yeah. Go like past the elevators and down a hall, and there we are,
Right. Yeah.
But the one cool thing when I worked there was, I don't know if it's still the case, but way back in 1991 when I worked,
you might want to do the math on how many years that's been before you go ahead. But
yeah, but that's the cool thing is that I worked at these resorts before they were even a year old.
Oh wow, okay,
they were brand new when I had started there. So,
did it bother? I'm just curious. Did it because and by the way, we got to do a whole episode on the college program sometime because I don't even understand. I just can't wrap my head around that thing. But so you get there, you're like wild-eyed, boy from Kansas, in the big city. Were you disappointed that you were in not a what somebody would say true
oh
Disney
my God,
location?
I was devastated.
Oh, really? Okay, because you're passing it off like right now, like, oh, it was fun, it was cool, and no big deal. But
no,
I would imagine, because you're what, 20-ish?
I was, I was 20. I turned 20 on the college program. I was 19 when I started.
Okay, all right. So you're like, oh, I'm a Disney fan. I'm going to go be a Disney college program, and hey, come over to this Sheridan.
Right. So yeah, no, that's, and especially because I love the contemporary so much, and I was like, it was like a dream. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. I get to go to the contemporary resort and work every day, and and then they told me this. I'm like, what in the world? And yeah, there's nobody around that I know, or and yeah, it was devastating. It was awful. That being said, I got to know, working there, I got to know the people who worked there, and luckily there was another college program guy who his circuit was the Epcot resorts. So you know what, I lied.
Okay.
The beach club and yacht club were there when
okay.
When they opened right around the same time.
Yeah. Okay.
But they were building the boardwalk. That's what it was. Because his circuit was the beach club and yacht club, the Dolphin and Swan, and so he would actually rotate, and he was in guest relations. So when he would work at the Dolphin, we would have dinner together and all, and we actually became really good friends. So that was cool when when I started, as the program went on, and I got to meet more people. But yeah, at first it stunk.
Okay. You didn't cry or anything, did you?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't cry.
Okay. All right. I just pictured you like curled up in your dorm or whatever they put you in. Just like...
No. One really cool thing was that Sheridan would give their employees one free meal a day, but it was a meal in a real cafeteria, like a hot food cafeteria. So I would every night I would get a free meal. I would get my dinner for free.
Okay.
And it was good.
When you're 19, it's a big deal.
Huh?
And when you're 19, that's a big deal.
It was a big deal, especially what they pay you on the college program.
Yeah, true. Yeah. We got to talk about that. Okay.
So anyway, so just real quick, back to the facts. Resort guests who stay there.
Go ahead.
They have all the same privileges as guests staying at Disney operated resorts, with one exception. They cannot room charge. So they cannot charge anything to their rooms. If they have a Magic Band or whatever, they can't charge it to their room. Yeah. And that's been like that since I was on the college program. And that's the one thing that people get so upset about. They're like, what? We can't? And it's like, no, sir, no, ma'am. We're a Disney store, and we're not part of the rest of the hotel, so you can't use your room charge here. They're like, well, what can I use it for? And it's like, well, at the restaurants, you can use it there, but not here. Sorry.
It's really surprising I mean, that's not an insurmountable technical challenge to do that. So I'm really kind of surprised that they have.
There's got to be some kind of
conscious reason not to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the last thing is just actually two things. One is Tishman and MetLife own the buildings. They have a 99-year lease on the land from Disney. But Disney receives a share of the hotel's revenues and has a say in any design or architecture changes to the interior or exterior of the buildings.
Yeah.
And the last thing is there is a urban legend that the squares in the middle of both the Swan and Dolphin. They're a different, a darker window color. So they look like they're black squares. The urban legend is that those squares are there in case they ever want to run a monorail through them. That they can just...
Who made this up? Why did you make this up?
No, I'm not making it up. And I'm here to say that that's completely false. That was never part of the design or anything. But people believe that those squares are there. They could just take them out and run the monorail through them if they build the monorail through.
Okay. I mean, all I have to do is look at the opening of the Contemporary and look at those and go, yeah, it's not even close.
I know, but believe me, it's out there. So
who made this up? Some 10-year-old made that up one day.
I guess.
Because they were like, they were disappointed they had to stay at the Swan rather than the Contemporary, and so they just made up a story about it. That's how it happened. Huh. Okay.
So that's the Swan and Dolphin.
Have you ever stayed at or any family or anything?
Yes, my family stayed there once.
Oh yeah. Okay.
After when I was living there, they not during the college program.
Okay.
So that's the nice thing about the Swan and Dolphin is you can actually sometimes find really good hotel deals because they aren't Disney resorts. So
well, that was going to be my next question: is what do I'm sure I could look it up, but you probably know. I mean, are they significantly cheaper than their equivalent Disney ones?
No, they're about the same. I was looking today actually as I was doing some of this research, and they run in the Dolphin. They run $150 to $225 a night. No,
that sounds cheap to me.
Well,
given their location, compare them to the yacht club or the boardwalk, right?
Yeah, that's about the going rate for those two.
Man, I thought they were up in the threes. No?
Nah.
I haven't stayed in those in a long time, but but they might have deals. Whereas mostly the Disney hotels are probably going to be pretty consistent in price, or, given seasonal adjustments or whatever. But probably Starwood's going to revenue manage those a little bit more and have deals from time to time, I would bet.
Yeah, and if you have points for
good point.
Starwood, then you can stay there or earn points, whatever.
Yep.
So there are benefits to these hotels.
They're nice places for conferences. They did a pretty decent job.
Well, they did when the Dolphin opened, it had the largest convention center on property. So it was truly a convention hotel. I mean, that's where almost every convention went. And so once Disney saw the success of that, after that is when they built the convention center on the Contemporary and the Grand Floridian and everywhere. And that's when they also built the Coronado Springs as a more moderate convention hotel. So
that's another one I don't get, but I guess it's just because I've not spent any time in it. And what's just strange is none of the and I look because I try to find conferences that are happening locally, so I don't have to pay for air travel and all that stuff. I never see anything at Coronado Springs. Yeah, I feel like we've talked about this before, but
it's not my favorite.
Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna have to stay, and I mean I guess I do know why. I like the Dolphin better than the Swan, just the style of the pyramid and whatnot. Now, do you know? Okay, in your research, there are, as I was sitting there having lunch watching this waterfall, there are 6 or 8 rooms that are sort of in the middle of the pyramid that look like they have a balcony, but it looked like it might be a faux balcony. What you got any data on that?
Yeah, I don't think any of those balconies are real.
Because they're right in the middle, and it's looks like they might have just put them there to kind of make a design statement, but they might. I don't know. I just don't know if there's anything different about those rooms, or if they were part of suites or anything. Or that'll be an exercise for the listener. They can look that up.
Yeah. I don't think. I think that's just a facade. That's part of the facade. I don't think it's. I don't see a close up image. So anyway,
transportation's great from there, though, right? Well, at least to
transportation
the studios, right?
great.
You just grabbed a little boat there.
Yeah,
and
or I mean, you could walk because it's okay. Well, you could if you wanted to.
Somebody could.
Literally across the street from Hollywood Studios. And then you could take a boat to Epcot or Hollywood Studios. When I worked there, they actually had a tram that went from Epcot to the Swan and Dolphin.
Swolfen.
The Swolfen.
Wait, like a train, like you'd get on like the International Gateway, and it would just ride over.
Yes, that's exactly. Yes.
You know what? I think I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
It was like one of those. I don't know what to compare it to. Like on Castaway Key, they have kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it was a tram. It was a tram like they use in the parking lots.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it was painted in coral and turquoise.
Those giant noisy things?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I have video of it.
Wow. Yeah. Maybe I must be thinking of something else because I can't imagine that driving through there. It's such a. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should go through and talk about all these. Every once in a while, pick a different resort to talk about. I love that area though. That is I love the contemporary, and just because of where it is and what it is. But
right.
But the Epcot Resort area is a really close second. We love the boardwalk. We stayed there a few times.
Yeah.
So, I like that.
Cool.
Area.
Well, right. I hope people did enjoy this because it was fun for me to do the research.
Yeah.
I got most of my research from a book, Building a Dream.
Wow. Not many people use the books anymore.
It focuses on a lot of the architecture that Eisner swept through.
Yeah.
Because there's, obviously there's a ton besides these two. There's a casting center. There's Team Disney Orlando. There's the actual Walt Disney Company headquarters. Mm-hmm. They were all done around this time by the same, group of architects that he used over and over. So, but cool. This was the first of any of that architecture.
Right. Well, thank you for doing the research. I enjoyed it. I didn't have to do the work. I got to sit and listen. So thanks.
Cool.
Well, I'd like to hear from people. If they like this kind of stuff, we'll do more of it. Maybe every once in a while we'll pick a little area and get a little history on it or something. So there's plenty. There's so much to talk about.
So much.
So cool. Swolfen. There you have it. I want to rename this corner that we have there. Should be like,
oh my God. We've renamed it vibes. 3 times already.
I know. It's, hey, we'll get it till it's perfect. Okay.
All right.
We'll do it again.
All right.
We'll do it again, people.
Do it live.
Do it live. You know what? Do it till it's right. Mainly it's just because I don't have any consistency with what I pick, so I just need to have something flexible enough. That,
okay.
It's like Chris picks things.
Exactly, and that's I think that's it.
Chris picks things that aren't the picks.
Chris lectures everybody.
All right. It's not. Oh, is that how it's taken? I'll stop.
No, I'm joking.
Man,
I'm joking.
Okay. Look, whatever.
Oh man.
Hang on. I gotta. Oh, look. The on that carriage thing, the rental thing, you can get $50 off if you reserve by June 30th.
Oh, dude.
Yep.
Let me.
Special code. Look, they're not even an advertiser, but I'll give everybody the code, right? Not even an advertiser.
Go ahead.
June 50 off. OFF. Right? You use that, half off or $50 off now.
There you go.
So now it's only what? $250?
Yeah, it's a bargain. They're almost paying you to do
it. Pretty much. Think of the attention you would get with that thing. All right. Anyway, shifting gears a little bit.
And say you heard it on on our podcast.
It's like you don't even know the name of the podcast.
What is it now? Tron. It's
insert podcast here. The Atlanta Falcons.
Terrific recordings
Simpsons
of
reference
nothing.
For those of you people out there. You must not have heard that.
For now. What? I heard Falcons. I glossed over that.
The Atlanta Falcons. It's a Simpsons reference. Anyway.
Oh, right. I can't wait to see the Denver Broncos play the Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl today.
Yeah. How many people right now are going, what is going on with these two? Why am I wasting my time listening to this? All right, listen. So if this is a waste of time for you, maybe the next thing I'm going to talk about won't be a waste of time. No, but the thing is, between the time that I learned about this thing and us recording the show, I think it's over. But I still want to highlight. I still want to highlight it. Hang on, I still want to highlight it because they do more things.
Wait! Hold on, before you go, I have something too. It's called Hands Across America.
We are.
Oh wait! Is that over?
We are the children.
Shoot, I'm sorry.
Did they ever make it across America? They never really did, right?
No, I think there were big gaps in the Midwest.
From like the 30th parallel or longitude to whatever. From like Arizona to Mississippi.
Right.
Big gap.
Is it farming?
Anywho. Man, you know how many old references we've had in this? Right now, our listeners go, man, these guys are old. Film strips, Simpsons references from the 80s, probably, early 90s, whatever. Hotels that were made 30 years ago. Jeez. Anyway, all right. So, like to highlight not only charities to give money to, but people and organizations doing good things, right? So, So there's a couple reasons why this next pick of mine I thought was interesting. So there's a tiny little independent game company called EA. Maybe you've heard of them.
I have.
They've been around a little while.
Yeah, small little independent firm.
Yeah, it's a low budget company. Anyway, so they're around. They're and they have a certain personality to them. Let's say. They seem they put out some big titles, but they're a hard driving company, and I don't think they're necessarily seen as like the I don't know, just being sort of conscientious about society and whatever. They just want to show some games at people. But I learned there was this thing called Play to Give, and I think they this year was the second year they've done this, which is basically they have a selection of games that people can play, and they I guess they get like pledges. People pledge money, and then so EA collects all this up, and they this year they donated $1 million to I think it primarily went to anti-bullying organizations, which kind of makes sense tied with gaming and stuff. But that's just one way that they manage some charities. They also have a couple of like 3 other partners that they do things through. So I thought it was interesting that here's a company that you wouldn't associate with sort of charitable giving, and maybe a fun way to get involved in it. So if anybody has an interest in it, the best way I found that you can go do is you can kind of look for EA Play to Give, and you'll see links to their other stuff. This last event, just ended like in June 2nd or something like that, probably just prior to E3, which is the big annual gaming convention. And I think there they announced the $1 million donation they made. Now, the cynical side of me would say, because I'd always have this part of me, well, this is in the company's best interest because, there's, especially in the last couple of years, there's been a lot of sort of issues around the gaming communities. And
oh, really? Could you explain
a couple of things? No, I don't think we have time to do the whole Gamergate recap, but go Google. But anyway, so, it is a little bit self-serving, I think, to a degree, but regardless, it's in the end still helping people and organizations out, and it takes change like this to make change. So
that's right.
Anyway, check them out. Kudos to EA for managing this kind of thing, and tune into their page and see when other events pop up.
Cool.
See, you can help people just by sitting on your butt playing video games, which is totally my speed. So
that's right.
All right. See, was that lecturing? No, it's not.
No, it wasn't.
It's me giving props to EA, which is weird.
That's right.
Now, if they could just make their games a little bit better and less buggy, that'd be nice too. They're not a sponsor, are they? Because you might not cut that out.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Probably never.
You don't know that. All right, pick of the week. I will go first because it sounds like you have something super duper excellent.
Come on, don't.
Greatest thing ever. So I'll go first.
Don't set expectations like that.
So my pick of the week is the Lego. It's a new set, the NASA Apollo Saturn V.
Oh, that's what I was gonna pick.
Oh man, darn it. So I'm just really brief. Anything with Lego is cool. So just get it. But what's cool about this one is it's kind of the closest thing to a scale model that Lego has ever done with the Saturn V. Like, they made sets, but they've just been like this big stick looking thing, right? But this one, it actually is each section you can once you build the whole thing, you can take it apart in each section as if it's, so you can actually see it and look at it and see how it launched, and the whole journey to the moon. So it's just really cool. So anyway, that's my pick.
I like it. Yeah, I never really realized that is they don't. That probably is the first like scale model kind of. Well, no,
they've
entirely.
done.
I think
others.
they had some like like Curiosity Rover and things like that.
Yeah.
But this thing's. I mean, it's physically a pretty large model, right?
Right. Yes, it is. It is 1/110 scale, which is what? Tell me. Oh, yeah. It's over 39 inches high, which is 100 centimeters for you.
Thank you. See, it makes sense when you say it in centimeters.
There you go, and 6 inches or 17 centimeters in diameter.
So. No, that makes less sense. But
the set includes 1,969 pieces.
Yeah. Do you know there are only like 3 countries left on the planet that still don't use the metric system? Do you know this?
Really? And which ones are those, Chris?
It's like they're like 2 that nobody's ever heard of before, and the United States. It's like, I'm like, I just don't understand what this country's hang up is and why we can't just. So weird. I mean, come on. Where's Jimmy Carter when you need him?
I know, right?
See, more old references.
He's shaking hands with everybody on his flight from Washington to Georgia.
I guess I didn't see that. Oh. Anyway, metric system. That should be my pick. But it's not. I have a different pick.
What's your pick?
But it's equally nerdy and will also include a reference for old people. So I'm curious whether you remember these things or not. Do you remember a little company called Radio Shack? Remember that place?
Yes, I'm vaguely familiar with that.
Did you ever play with, read about in a history book? They used to have these like 200-in-1 electronic project kit things. Did you ever see these?
Yeah, I know what those are. Yeah.
Okay, so they were just to kind of describe them, because this is, I love these things. I never personally owned one because, sad childhood, but I had friends and relatives that had these, but they were like, kind of a game board sized thing, and it had all these sections of different electronic components, right? You got some capacitors over here, and you have a battery holder over here, and a light that would light up over here, and a little meter over here, and it was this ingenious setup of these like springs that you would like just kind of move aside, and you would put these wires and then let go of the spring, and it would hold the wire, and then you'd wire it up, and they'd have the book with all these kits and everything. I love this thing, and I indeed learned a little bit about electricity by using these, right? Because you learn, how circuits work and why you need these different components, and it was so cool. Kind of like doing things with Arduinos today is like taking electronics and making physical things happen, right? Because you do stuff with this. So, for a long time, I'm like, man, it's a shame there's no, like, they don't sell these anymore, but they, they're dated or whatever. So I don't remember where we found out about this. I don't remember where, but maybe like a year ago, I may have just found it on Amazon. I think it was my son's birthday, we bought this this kind of the modern version of this. It's from a company called Snap Circuits, right? Like snap it together in circuits. And this is, I love these things. It comes with a little kit, and instead of wires, you have these hard plastic kind of rods of different lengths. And you use those, you create like a circuit out of them, and you have like things that make noise and the battery holder and LEDs and all this stuff. And we bought the first kit with that, and my older son, he loved it. I was floored by how like into this he was, and like after a while I just let him start to do the projects on his own, and he picked them up and did it, and he loved it. And so since he just graduated kindergarten, we thought we'd give him another little gift, and we just got a new Snap Circuits arcade, which is uses the same sort of board layout and pieces, but it has more things that light up and spin and make noise, and you can make like little games out of them, even the little simple sort of games. So I just think these things are great. If anybody, and there's all the rage right now to talk about STEM education and all that, and if anybody's interested in this, boys or girls or whatever, these things are so much fun, and they're not expensive at all, relatively for what they are. And they have different versions of the kits, whatever. So they're sold on Amazon or various places, or you can go to snapcircuits.net, and they have they show the different kits and things they have there. So I just love these things. I think this is one of those. It's another one of these companies that I'm like, man, I wish I had done that. So, neat product.
Very cool.
Did I lose you? Still there?
No, I've seen them advertised, and I've thought about getting.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, they're
yeah.
fantastic. I would totally recommend it. I mean, even if you think your kids have no interest at all in, sciencey, nerdy, techie things, this feels like you're just putting together Legos, right? This is sort of the theme of the show here, I guess, today. So you're just putting these pieces together, and, because you don't have to understand why, that resistor piece is there, because you're not doing it with individual electronic components. You're doing it with sort of these prefabbed, standardized, sized and shaped pieces. So if a resistor needs to go here, there's just I need that red block that goes there, and you just build these circuits up with where it shows you in the book on this little grid that they give you. It's fantastic. It's genius.
Cool. Very cool.
I recommend it. All right. See, it wasn't
That's a good
that
pick.
fantastic, but I like it.
That's a good pick.
All right. Good. That's all I got today.
Cool. All right. That's all I have too. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Terrific Recordings of Nothing. Follow Chris on Twitter and Instagram at CBGray, and Glenn on Twitter and Instagram at DizWiz. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Tron_FM, and on Facebook at Terrific Recordings of Nothing. For all things related to the show, including show notes and links to connect with us, visit us at Tron.fm.